I'm Roger Sheker. I'm the Chief Designer for Audience products, particularly electronics, but lately very much involved in the design of our new speaker systems. This is based on an original concept that was developed originally years ago by our founder, Richard Smith. And the idea was to have a truly coherent speaker system, a single line source. And this is our 8-driver interpretation of this design. This is our middle product. We have a 4-driver version of this, and all the way up to a 24-driver version of it that would go from the floor all the way to the ceiling. It has quite a few technical advantages. Being a single line, the sound becomes quite coherent. The tonality across the full register remains the same, and this is very important to musicality. That was the whole idea, is to get us into the music. This is what we want. The advantages of this is, of course, when you have more drivers, you gain more efficiency. There's no crossover in it, so it's a very easy load for an amplifier. The energy is controlled. The vertical dispersion is from here to here. This is inherent in the line array design. So the ceiling and floor reflections no longer become a problem. With our design here, we have a very broad background for these speakers, so the baffle step response is no longer a problem. These go down to 70 hertz, and by then, this is wide enough that the baffle step is a non-issue. We do not have to correct for it. Now, to do the rest of the spectrum, below 70 hertz, we have our new subwoofer. This is a more conventional design, although the way it's implemented is a bit unique. We have two 500-watt amplifiers driving two 12-inch woofers. They're firing towards each other in phase, so the forces cancel out, and it's just absolutely solid. Of course, this means nothing if it isn't musical, and this is very a musical system. On to our new power conditioner. This is our new Audience power conditioner with the Teflon capacitors. This is a significant upgrade from our original polypropylene capacitors. And although it is considerably more expensive, it is considerably better. In fact, even as a designer of this product, I was quite surprised at the level of improvement that we're getting from it. It's pretty remarkable.
What are some of the aspects you look for in a power conditioner? What are your design goals?
The first thing was, don't get in the way. Don't inhibit power supply to the equipment that needs it. First, do no harm. So what we've done here is a massive conductors, extremely low DC resistance, and what really makes it work is the exemplary quality of the components that we use in there. The wiring in it is the same as the wiring that's using our power cords, extremely low DC resistance and very good sonics, and each and every individual outlet has its own individual filter, separated from the next one in the duplex and from all the rest. So every component is isolated from every other component. And we found this to be very important to keep power supplies from one piece of equipment from talking to another piece of equipment and corrupting the audio.
So tell us a little about your now famous power cord.
Oh yes, our power cord. Necessary evil, you got to have them. And sometimes they can be a little difficult to live with. We see some of them in the industry that you put them into your equipment and the equipment tips up because the cord is so heavy. So, first off, our power cord had to be practical. It had to be something you could actually use. So we come up with this very flexible design. And even at that, this is equivalent to a 10 gauge. This is extremely low DC resistance, and it does what it's supposed to do, gets power from point A to point B without losses, without picking up noise. And in light of that, we use the watt gate connectors that we found to be the best sonically. And if you notice, unplated, we found the unplated versions to be sonically superior to any of the coated ones. And they terminate nice. Got a good solid connection. They do what they're supposed to do. They do it well.
Now, I've tried a variety of CD treatments, and the Auric Illuminator seems to be much more effective than others. Could you tell me a little about why?
Well, we, as you can see, this flying saucer here, we stole the technology from aliens. No, seriously, it's based on good, sound scientific principles, as are all of our other products. It's a resolution enhancement by improving the optical qualities of the interface between the air and the surface of the disc. The original formulation was done for the military and then reformulated specifically for this application. It does several things very well. It reduces the static charge on the disc, which makes it ride much smoother, so it doesn't tend to wobble. It's amazing how much static electricity builds up on spinning discs. And it can exert a lot of force, and you can actually see the discs moving. And of course, if this happens, your tracking focusing mechanism has to follow. And you're putting a load on the tracking mechanism, you're putting a load on the electronics that are controlling the servo mechanisms, and it's varying the power supply, and it feeds into the audio and corrupts the audio signal. So by making the track smoother, you end up with better sound. And of course, in improving the optical interface, the bits on the disc are read easier. There's more distinct line where the bits start and stop. Less ambiguity, less error correction going on. So the net result is that it ends up sounding much more analog. In fact, I'm so spoiled with this, I can hardly stand listening to this without it. And I can tell instantly if somebody plugs a disc in, whether it's been treated or not. It's that much of a difference. It really is.
And I think you can almost see it visually.
Yeah, actually you can. When you look at a disc in a reflection, you see the rainbow hues. An untreated disc, it's rather vague, the outline, and you treat it, the razor sharp outlines now become quite obvious. So, yeah, it's something you can actually see.
Thank you.
Thank you.